What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Boulder Media Radio. I'm your host, Javier, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful Monday. I'm doing an extra episode today, and I'll be doing one tomorrow, and we'll be doing another one on Thursday. So we've got some great stuff going on, so I thought I would just add some more some cool things that are going to be happening over the next few days. So first thing is that obviously we have a new episode for today, and want to go over that in just a second. I'll be going over our topic in just a minute. This thing's like huge, but this is it's supposed to stop the mic from popping, so it's like your mic pop, if you will. And so anyways, what I wanted to do was talk about some things that are going on. So obviously we've got a show today. Tomorrow, I can't tell you what the show is going to be for tomorrow. And then Thursday, we're going to be scheduling our first interview that we'll be doing with one of my good friends, who was also one of my friend that we basically grew to know each other even better because we're in the same coaching program. And he runs a gym out in California called Vibe Fitness, Vibe, V-I-B-E. And so he's rocking it out there, and super impressed with what he's done and how he's grown his business. So that's just kind of a plug for what's going to be happening on Thursday. So we've got some amazing things that are, kind of lining up. One of them is that we're going to be scheduling some more interviews with business professionals that have been either entrepreneurs, own their own businesses, or high level. And we're looking to essentially like get these people to get some more exposure and learn more about what they've done to grow their business to prosper. Okay. And so our first interview that we're going to be doing is with Gino Garcia. So, shout out to Gino if you're watching this. But what I need to do is get on to today's topic. And this is the 5 biggest breaks and how I got so lucky. So this is really interesting because this is one of those things that calls to me is when people say, "Oh, you got so lucky," or "When was your break?" and "When did you get a lucky break?" and all this other stuff. And no one understands the grind. No one understands the hustle. And I know I'm using cliche words. I get that. Okay, I understand that I'm using cliche words, and everyone says grind, everyone says hustle, and all this other stuff. I understand that. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people don't really get the true journey of an entrepreneur. They think that they have it made. They see all this stuff, and in reality, I'm going to be straight with you. And if you don't believe it, it's true. It's smoke and mirrors. Okay, it's just straight up smoke and mirrors. And if you're like, well, what do you mean by smoke and mirrors? There are times when things look glorious on this screen, okay? What you see on Facebook, what you see on Instagram and YouTube, and all this other stuff. And when I say there are times, I would say the majority of it is that. The majority of it is what you see and you think it's just like, wow, man, that guy has a nice car, that guy has a nice home, that guy does this, that guy does that. Or that woman does this and she's amazing and she's and all this stuff. And it's sad because social media is a great tool. It really is. It helps us connect with people, meet people that we never thought we would ever meet. It helps us really just start learning more about others, and it helps, build relationships that you never would have had. Okay. I have friends that are around the country. I have friends that are, and you might even argue like, well, how can you call those friends? Because I've actually met these people briefly, and then we connect more via social media, or vice versa. We've connected via social media, but then we've actually had better relationships after that by us connecting, over, talking over the phone or texting or whatever. What I'm getting to is that sometimes, social media really hides what's really going on. Okay. And so when an entrepreneur has a big break, or they have their lucky shot, and people are like, man, you got so lucky. I can't believe that. You don't really see all the failures before all of that. Okay. And this is something that really, it hits me hard. Like, it makes me a little soft inside, like me talking about this. It's like, hopefully I don't get any tears, and the reason I say this is because what most people don't understand is that being an entrepreneur is not for everyone. It's hard. It is difficult to do. And sometimes there are days where people, including myself, wish they didn't have that DNA in them to like want to start their own business. And the reason I say that is because it takes a lot out of you. You have lots of failures. And when I say lots of failures, you have boatloads of failures. There are so many no's before you get yeses. And that is depressing to the core. It's hard. Okay. And so I want to share with you where my breaks were in my life. Okay. But I'm going to share with you the backstory, like how I got lucky to get there. Okay. So I'm going to give you different ones and how they all kind of have helped me get to this where I'm at right now. So I would say the number one break I had was, and some people don't know this, and I'm going to put it out there, is that I was able to win a world title in NASCA, North American Sports Karate Association, in fighting in 2001, I believe. 2000 or 2001. I got to double check. As you can tell, it's not that important to me anymore. Before then, it was huge. It was something that I was striving for, and it was one of the main reasons why I kept going so hard in sport karate. It's not because I didn't have fun. I loved it. I was having a blast doing it. But that was the one thing that kept me engaged. It was the one thing that kept me going and motivated and focused in achieving my goal is becoming a world champion. And I knew that it took a lot in someone to do that. And something that some people don't understand is that to be a world champion, I don't care what the sport is, to be a world champion in something takes a lot of skill. If you're a world champion in darts, that takes a lot of skill. And you're like, it's just throwing darts. There's a mentality side of all of this. Right? There is a mentality side of becoming a world champion something. And that's something that some people don't understand, is that when someone is, I guess the best way to put it, is challenged to where they have to compete against other professionals or other big wigs or whatever in a sport, that brings out the best or brings out the worst in you. Okay. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people, and when I say a lot, I would say the majority of people will crumble under that pressure. They'll crumble under that pressure because they don't have it mentally on how to be a champion. Being a champion it's not in your DNA. It's what becomes from all the crap that you had to put up with before you got there. And no one tells you that, and no one expresses that, and no one really says what's involved. So like, for me to become a world champion fighter in sport karate, I lost, and I'm talking lost several, all right, more matches than I've ever won. Okay, I don't even know how many matches I won, but I can tell you for a fact that I lost more than I've ever won in my life. Okay, in all of sport tournaments, and it was frustrating because I put in more work than my competitors. At least I thought I did at the time. I was focused. I was training. I was doing all sorts of stuff. Okay, and I was dedicated. I would train to my eyes until I got tired. I would train twice a day. I would teach classes and keep training and doing all sorts of stuff. And what people don't quite get is that I would go to tournaments, and call it what you want, but there were times whenever I would go to a tournament and I knew I won that match, and I didn't get the match. I didn't win. And a lot of it was because, and people told me this, I didn't have the recognition. I didn't have the I didn't have like the effect of like what Michael Jordan had back in the day, where when Michael Jordan basically was playing, he'd get the foul calls whenever he wanted it. Okay. Like people would he would just get the fouls. And so some people don't understand that. And like, you have to pay the price of being in the sport long enough to get the calls that you deserve, probably. And that was part of my losing streak, if you will, was I wasn't in the sport of sport karate long enough to have that reputation, to have that, I guess you could almost say like that, oh, this guy is good kind of stuff, like where they would, not give me the points, where they would actually kind of credit me more than others. Okay. And it took time. And so I lost a lot at the beginning. I don't know where the tipping point was. I don't recall where I was competing and all of a sudden there was a tipping point. What I can tell you is when I started seeing a change is when I started changing my mindset. And that was my break right there, is when my mindset shifted. I understood what it was to be a champion, okay? It went from complaining all the time about why I didn't win to finding reasons on why I didn't get the points that I should have gotten to making sure I was better than the other person at all times. And the reason I say this is that I took the time to develop my skill sets that I couldn't be denied a win. I couldn't be denied a point. I couldn't be denied anything. And it took me a while to do that. And to be a champion, if you will, you don't get that on your first tournament. You get that through experience. I don't know how many tournaments I had to go to win consistently, you know? And it was like this. I'd go to a tournament, I'd lose my first match. Go to another tournament, lose my first match. Go to another tournament, win my first match, lose my second match. Go to another tournament, and it kept going like that over and over again. And I never got a break. And even when I won my world title, I still felt like I never got a break. And so I guess what I'm trying to get to is that if you want to call that, you know, me being lucky, sure. But in reality, what that was is that I stayed focused on achieving a goal that I had as a child. Okay. I got to a point where I loved the martial arts so much that it drove me to want to be a champ in the sports that I started competing in, only training in the martial arts because I desired to win, to be a world champion. And is that the wrong reasons to compete? Probably. But did it lead to other things? It totally did. And I think what it led to is it led to a mind shift in my head. It led to something different that I needed to experience. And has being a world champion opened doors for me? No, it has not. And the reason I say this is because no one cares. No one cares about what you accomplished in the past. But what it has done is that it's prepared my mind on how to approach everything I do in business. Okay? I approach things to an effect that most people don't understand. Okay? I prepare like I'm going to compete in a world title for marketing or for sales or something. I prepare as though I am going to have this world-class opportunity. And that was, I guess you could say, the beginning of my break, if you will. Okay? Where I got enough of a victory that boosted my confidence, that helped me helped shape to become who I am today. And so did that help? To a degree, you know, a little bit. But I can tell you right now, me being a world champion, the actual title didn't help me do anything better in my business. The journey of becoming a world champion is what changed everything for me. Okay, so I used to tell this to my students when I owned a karate school, is that a lot of them thought that I was just this amazing athlete and I just won titles and all that stuff. And I was like, you guys see all these trophies? You guys are only seeing the first place trophies and the second place trophies. Did you guys see the trophies for 5th place and 6th place? And they're like, no. Do you know why you haven't seen them? They're like, no, I don't know why. Because they don't give them out. I had more of those because they don't give them out than I had, 3rd place, 2nd place, 1st place. And it sucks, but that is the nature of it. But at the end of the day, what I can tell you is that me being able to achieve that showed the mental tenacity, that I needed to become the best at whatever I do. Whenever I put my mind into something, it gave me the tenacity to figure it out and keep driving forward. Okay, so that's my number one break. If you want to say I lucked out, if you will. Okay. Number 2 is getting an SBA loan. Okay, so I'm looking at my notes right over here. And you're like, getting an SBA loan, are you serious? Everyone gets those. Not necessarily. So again, this is something that, people don't quite get. So when I started my business, I was looking for a business loan everywhere. I was looking for a loan everywhere. Okay. And it was hard to get one because all of them were like, well, you need collateral. And I was like, dude, if I had collateral, I would already have it, sold it, and don't need you. And so I had a business plan and everything. It was all prepared on what my business was going to be and how to execute and everything. I was really, really impressed with it. And I was happy. Okay. And I would go to different banks looking for a loan. And I had my business plan, how it was going to, work out. I would apply for the loan correctly. It was a commercial loan, and I would get turned down a lot. Okay. I mean, I was going to different banks every single time, asking about this and how do I do that. And it was just, rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection. It was ridiculous. How many banks did I go to? I don't remember. I don't know. This was like 10 plus years ago. Okay. But my point being is that I got rejected a lot. All right. And this is coming from, a graduate from the Leeds School of Business, which is one of the top universities in the country. All right. The business school, like I wrote a business plan. I used the model of that business plan. I don't even know where it is anymore. To be honest, I think I lost it. I used that model of that business plan. And was I at the top of my class? No, but I was an intelligent guy. And I kept getting rejected for loans for my business. I was like, this sucks. So anyways, I applied for an SBA loan. Probably wasn't the smartest thing, but I hate to say this, I was getting desperate. I was getting desperate to start my business. And it's not a good time to start a business whenever you are desperate. The reason I say this is that it's you start making decisions that are not necessarily the smartest ones out there. Okay. You start making decisions that are questionable. All right. Not unethical or unmoral. All right. It's not the smartest decisions. And I think I made some very poor decisions because of me being desperate to open my business. With that said, I learned some stuff as well, too. When I ended up getting my SBA loan, like the part that most people think is like, oh, you just got an SBA loan, you're good. And I was reading I was listening to an audiobook by Mark Cuban the other day, and that you don't ever want to start a business with funding from your parents, from family, from friends, or even getting a loan. And the main reason is because you now are indebted to the person or indebted to that company. And so that changes the relationships a lot. And it was tough. Okay. I wasn't making a lot of money at the time, but I was getting desperate to do this. And, I probably could have approached it a little differently. I could have approached it a lot better. But anyways, the point is that I got lucky, if you want to call it that, and got an SBA loan. I got it through Wells Fargo. When I talked to the lending agent, they basically said, they looked at the loan and everything, and they looked at the business plan. They're like, you're the only person for the size of this loan who's ever written a business plan this extensive about what you're planning to do. And I'm actually very impressed. And I was like, really? That's amazing. And so they said, like, we think that you have a great opportunity, and we'd like to give you this opportunity and offer you the loan. So I got a $20,000 loan, which was good. That's what started everything. So when I got that $20,000 loan, that helped me fund a lot of the beginning stuff. Did I need more? I totally needed more. I needed a lot more, not just 20 grand. I needed oh my God, probably like 50. But the thing is that, you do with what you work with. And I wasn't going to ask for a lot. I ended up also getting a loan for my dad. It was 10 grand. Okay. And to this day, I've paid everything back. Our relationships are solid. Wells Fargo likes me because I paid them back. My dad loves me because, yes, I'm his son, but I paid him back. Okay. And, so was that like a break? Yes, it was. But again, no one really saw the journey of me trying to get that loan. I was busting my tail, talking to different businesses, talking to people that would be willing to invest. And I was getting rejected everywhere. And it's okay. I wasn't upset. At the time, it sucked. It was challenging, and it affected me a lot inside of me. It affected me almost too much. And I guess, where I can explain this is that getting that opportunity really opened up doors. Getting that loan really opened up a lot of doors for me. It also taught me a lot too, which leads me to my third break, if you will, is opening my business. Okay. At the height of the recession. opening my business at the height of the recession. All right. So let me explain all this stuff. I got my loan, I don't know, I want to say around January, February of 2008. And I was in negotiations with the landlord where our location was around that time frame, probably even prior. And I signed my lease of March of 2008. I think I got my money, my funding around that time as well too from Wells Fargo. I and friends that helped me, we basically started doing build outs for the place. And when I say build out, we were tearing it out because it used to be a State Farm office. All right. And so they were looking at downsizing. And so they wanted a smaller office. And so, because they had a big office and they were splitting with somebody else. And they basically had to get rid of, they were, just, leaving, going to the next office space over. So me and a bunch of friends just demoed the entire place. And I bought them coffee and I bought them bagels. Okay. And we just destroyed everything. And then from there, I had to hire everybody else out, all the trades. Okay. And this is still not in the recession, even though we were already in a recession. When I was about to open, was August of 2008, we hit the recession, and then it was official. Okay. I'm sorry, September 2008, it was official. So I opened my doors in August of 2008. September 2008, it was official. We were in a recession. The government admitted it, and it was bad. It was not good. Okay. And so I guess where I'm coming from here is that was the worst thing that could possibly ever happen. And when I found out about it, the shopping center in my place was like businesses were closing left and right. Okay. I'm not kidding you. Businesses were closing left and right. All right. I was in an anchor store shopping center. The anchor store was Safeway. Okay. And then there was a Blockbuster there. There was a pizza place. There was a hair salon, a liquor store. I mean, it was a good location. But as soon as the recession hit, businesses in that strip started going out. The Blockbusters started going down. Safeway started going down in business. Like, it was tough. And I didn't luck out on that one. That one was hard because I'm sitting in my head. I'm like, man, this is the worst timing in the world. But I couldn't do anything. I signed a 5-year lease. I had to stick with it. And I remember having knots in my stomach every day, scared out of my mind about what I was doing and wondering if I made the right decision. And I couldn't believe I was doing this. And it was crazy. I was scared. And I remember calling my parents a lot of the times and just telling them I'm scared. I feel like this is, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And they talked me through it and stuff like that. But long story short, the best thing that ever happened to me to open my business was opening during the recession. And the reason is that it made me very efficient at what I needed to be doing, at what I had to do. It made me efficient in my business approach. It made me efficient in everything. It was insane. And the reason I say that it made me efficient is because I was able to, how can I say this? I was able to really get smart on my marketing, really get smart in my sales processes. I was really efficient in everything. Like, if I was in a thriving economy, I think I would have been spending more money in areas I probably didn't need to. But what it did do is it taught me in how to be smart on where to spend, how to spend, and how to, essentially use elbow grease, put some sweat equity into everything. Okay. I got really good at marketing to the point where I was able to make my business, my small little martial arts studio in that shopping center with an anchor store, become the anchor store. I had my entire spot more filled up, okay, versus Safeway. I had more cars lined up versus Safeway, okay? And I don't think I would have gotten to that point if it wasn't for me experiencing the recession at the height, okay? It was tough, and it was not something that, you want to experience, so was that a break? Sure. Call it a break. would you say I lucked out in making it through the recession? No, I didn't luck out. What I did do is I developed skill sets that many people would die to have, or many people would never even have the opportunity to learn. All right, skill sets that pay me today. Okay, and it's amazing. It's great. Next break, I guess you could probably say I had, is that I was featured on local news TV. Okay, and so and look it up on YouTube if you want to. Go to my YouTube channel. You can go to youtube.com/JavyKicks, JavyKixS. And on the channel, you'll see the news station, and then you'll see me on there. I was featured on Channel 2 News with Dan Daru, and it was awesome. And so you might think, man, you must have got lucky. You must have gotten a break to be featured on the news. No. Again, I didn't get lucky on this. What I did do is I was persistent, okay? What did I do? I contacted media outlets on a regular basis by sending out press releases and articles and events that are going on in my business, in my studio, every single month. And if it wasn't every month, it was every other month. I created as many events as possible to help people, know and learn more about my company, to the point where I got my break. And this is how it started. I was driving down, I think I was going to Lowe's in my truck, in my Jeep. Missed that Jeep, man. If you ever have a Jeep Wrangler, don't ever sell it, all right? Word of advice, if you have a Jeep Wrangler, don't ever sell your Jeep, okay? So anyways, I was driving to Lowe's, I forget for what, to go to get something, I don't know what. I get a phone call, so I answer it, the Dojo of Karate, this is Javier. And so everything forwarded to my cell phone. Anyways, it was Dan Daru. And he said, hey, this is Dan Daru from Channel 2 News, from the, Good Day, Colorado, I think is what it is. He's like, from Good Day, Colorado. And I'm like, I know who you are. He goes, cool. Well, we got your press release in regards to doing a kids board breaking seminar. And we were supposed to do an airing or a video or an airing on Wednesday morning. But it got canceled, and so we need to fill a spot immediately. And this came up, and can you make it happen? Can we go to your place tomorrow and do an airing? I was like, yeah, totally. I'm like, what time? He goes, well, the show starts at 6 a.m., so you would have to be there at 5. And I go, you want me to get people together by 5 a.m. tomorrow? He's like, yes, can you do it? And guess what my answer was? Yes. Didn't say anything else. I didn't say, I'll see what I can figure out. My answer was yes. I will make sure that we will have people there, and I'll make sure that we will be ready to go. Okay? But before all that, I was sending, and this was in 2011, I think, or 2010. 2010 is when it was. 2010. It was January 2010. I'd already been open 18 months or 24 months, one of the two. And so I was basically sending out articles and press releases once a month, okay, about events going on in my studio. Nothing was catchy until this one came up. And it was because someone canceled, all right? And I said, yeah, Dan, I'll do a show at the last minute. So I freaked out, told my students, I'm like, guys, we're having a news station here tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. or 5 a.m. or whatever. You got to be here at 5:30 tomorrow morning if you want to be on TV at 6 with Dan Daru. And so we had 15 kids show up, and some of them broke boards in front of everybody. And it was great, okay? I had a great experience. I did the best that I could in front of live TV. And then I took that video and I posted it everywhere, to the point where I was getting business from people saying, the only reason why I called you is because you were featured on live TV on Good Day, Colorado. I was like, are you kidding? It was cool. It was amazing. Is that a break? No, I don't think so. I mean, you can say, oh, you got lucky there. No, I didn't. Did you not realize that all the articles and stuff and press releases that I was sending to all the media outlets, when I say media outlets, I'm talking all the major news stations in Denver, all the newspapers, okay, and then press release sites online. And I was doing this on a regular basis every single month. And if it wasn't every month, it was every other month until I got lucky. Okay? So it's not very many people can say that they and their business were featured on live TV, on local news. Okay. And when I say local news, it's not like I lived in a small podunk town. Okay. I lived north of Denver in Westminster, and I was submitting stuff to big news stations in Denver. So it wasn't like I got lucky. Okay. I was consistent. I was persistent. All right. Here's my last one. And I guess I can build off of this one. My last, number 5, my big breaks, if you will, that I got lucky, is I had a chance to speak at the FitRanks World Conference 2 years ago in Las Vegas. And it was kind of cool. I had no idea what to talk about. I was told by my coach at the time, Nick Ryans, that he wanted me to speak at the World Conference. And I was like, yeah, I'll totally do it. And he basically said, you can talk about anything you want to. And I was like, what? You want me to talk about whatever I want? He's like, yes, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I was like, okay. So I didn't have a lot of guidance. And so I prepared like my face off to get everything right, to get everything, what it needed to be. Okay. My topic was what drives you. And I used drives as my acronym. All right. And so it was DRIVES. All right. And then I used each word was each letter was a word that we focused on. And it was basically trying to find what drives you to become, who you are. Like what's your reasoning, your why. Okay. What's your why? All that stuff. Where I'm coming from is that when I had this chance, it was cool because it was at the World Conference, the first World Conference that Nick basically launched. Okay. So this was huge. It was in front of 100 gym owners. So big deal. It was in a big prestigious place in Las Vegas. I was able to record this and use this for other stuff and repurpose it. And did it open up other doors? Not necessarily, but it's something that I was able to put on my resume, if you will. All right. Not that I have a resume, because I haven't put a resume together in 15 years, I think. I've not put a resume together in 15 years. I don't even know what would I put on there. So with that said, I basically was fortunate to have this opportunity. How did I get it? I think part of it is that I was one of Nick's successful students, if you will, that he coached. And so he wanted me to share my journey and what I've experienced and all that stuff, and something that kind of spoke to me. And so there's something that's always spoken to me is that I want to help other people, businesses, anybody. I want to be able to provide and help as much as I can to others. And so, with that said, this showed me that I wanted to do it on a bigger stage. I wanted to be a motivational speaker, essentially. And I didn't know that until I started preparing for this. And so am I a motivational speaker today? No, far from it. Okay. Because I'm not getting paid for it. But is that an end goal? It totally is. I have already planned out everything that I want to accomplish in my life. Okay. Career-wise and also family-wise and all that stuff. And one of those career paths, if you will, is getting an opportunity to start speaking on a circuit, be a keynote speaker, and being a motivational speaker. Like I want to be able to get to that point. And I think I have the tools to get there. I know what it takes to motivate people, because if you can motivate 5-year-old kids, okay, if you can motivate 7-year-old kids, if you can motivate teenagers, okay, then I'm pretty sure you can motivate almost any age group. And don't believe me? Try to motivate a teenager. If you have kids, all right, motivate that teenager and see how that's like. It's not possible. It's hard, okay? And so I was able to do that, and I realized that I have something that speaks to people. And that's when I started seeing the end goal would be, be able to be like a motivational or inspirational speaker. And, someone that kind of inspired me, I posted this once on my Facebook page, is Eric Thomas. And so his story and what he's accomplished has inspired me to continue this path of where I want to be eventually. Do I want to be like him? It'd be kind of cool, but I don't want to be like Eric. I want to be like Javier. And so this opportunity that I had to speak at the World Conference, would I call it a break? No, I don't think so. I would call it something that I earned, an opportunity that I earned, and then on top of that, I capitalized on. Okay? And all these things, all these breaks, if you will, in my opinion, the reason why I was able to capitalize on all these breaks was because of the first break that I had of me being a world champion at what I accomplished in the sport of karate. Okay? I was able to do something that many people will never be able to say, is that they're a world champion in something. I mean, how many people do you personally know have accomplished something of that extreme, of that level? Okay? There aren't a lot. And so am I trying to brag? Totally not. I'm not bragging. I rarely bring this stuff up. I'm using it as a story for what I'm trying to share, is that I don't, what I had to go through to achieve that title, it sucked and it was hard. I mean, I remember crying after tournaments and just like, man, I'm not getting those breaks. And it was hard for me to accept it. And I just kept going at it. And so I guess at the end of the day, I guess what I'm trying to get to is that I thank all my losses to get to where I am today. Like all the stuff that I go through, all the tears that I had, all the pressure and the knots in my stomach, all the doubts that I had in my head, everything that just kept telling me that I'm a loser, I can't do this, any of that stuff. Like, I don't think I would have been able to experience it if I didn't understand what it took to be a champion. And all that stuff, it led to me succeeding in areas because I never gave up. I never stopped at the first no. I never stopped at the first loss. I never stopped at the rejections. I continued. And I think that's part of life. And some people understand that, but they don't apply it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like we all understand that we should never give up, but the part is that most people don't apply that stuff. Most people, they just understand they should be doing it, but they won't apply that. And what can you do? And so I think at the end of the day, I think the most successful people on this planet aren't necessarily the most brilliant people. It's the ones that know how to execute. It's the ones that know how to execute under pressure. It's the ones that know how to execute under pressure and know all odds are against them. It's the ones that know how to execute under pressure, all odds against them, and there's no hope for them to succeed. But yet they find a way. They find a way to succeed, and they get their breaks. So would you consider, my 5 things that I came up with as me being lucky? No. At the end of the day, I honestly think it's just me being persistent. It's me not giving up on what my dreams were. Okay? I have another dream, of where I'm at right now. I'm in a crossroad with my family, where I sold my business. I moved to a new town. I'm starting a new business again. And it's all, there's a struggle. There's a struggle everywhere. And is it impossible? No, totally isn't. Will I succeed? Yes. And the reason I'm going to succeed is because of all the other past failures that I had and all the no's and the rejections and everything else is preparing me for this. And then the same thing is going to happen for what my end goal for, what I want to do is I want to be a motivational speaker. Is this a platform that I can use? I totally can. Is it going to be what makes me successful? Not this one episode, but what I will say is that this episode and many more that I'll continue to be doing over the next few months, maybe several years, is what's going to help carve out the future, And at the end of the day, I hope that you guys understand that, you got to be persistent at what you want. And all the rejections that you get and all the no's that you got to plug through those things. You got to fight through those things because you're going to get them and you're going to get more of them. But don't ever think that someone got lucky because you're stealing away from somebody. If you ever say that, man, that person is lucky or they got a break, you stole something from them. You stole that they had to bust their ass to get to where they are. Don't do that. Okay? So make sure if you see someone succeed, applaud them and be like, man, that person deserves everything they've ever achieved because of all the failures that we don't even know about. Okay? But understand that the people that are really striving to be the best, they're not getting breaks. They're just showing their resilience. So that's my story on, my 5 biggest breaks and luckouts, if you will. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I thought it'd be kind of nice to have a little personal story on my end, because we'll be doing some interviews and so we'll be getting personal with some people. And if you guys like this, please make sure you guys give us a thumbs up. Please share this as well too. And if you guys want to follow us on social media, obviously here you can follow me on my page. And then we have our podcast, which is called Boulder Media Radio. Please find us on iTunes and Stitcher. And there's some other podcasting sites that we're looking at loading up as well too. And then if you want to follow us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel, you can subscribe to us on youtube.com/JavyKicks, JavyKixS. And I think those are all the outlets that I have right now. And so we're looking at getting bigger, obviously, but that's my story. I hope you guys liked it, and please subscribe to the channels that we have right now. Please share these stories, because I think the one thing that makes me want to continue to succeed is always hearing other people's stories and be like, man, you had it worse than me. And so it makes me want to be like, my incidents weren't that bad, even though for my personal struggles they were. They were very hard. So they were difficult to overcome and get through. But at the end of the day, it was cool. So I got to say that I enjoyed them a lot. So again, this is Javier. I'm your host with Boulder Media Radio. If you have any marketing questions, I know this was not a marketing show right now, but if you have marketing questions, sales questions, obviously hit us up. Boulder Media Solutions is the brand that I created, and our goal is to grow your revenue whenever you guys are looking to increase your business. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.